Hello everyone, Brother Yobi here, and today I will be bringing you a draft analysis and kind of team breakdown of the NPDA Offseason Classic Tournament. This is a tournament in which we draft, it's basically the TTM point style draft. We are allowed 8 Pokemon and we get 100 points to do so. So immediately when I think about that, I think that there are going to be a lot of high-tiered, high-point Pokemon going because typically with the TTM tournaments, they're 80, 85, or they're like lower tier Pokemon. So it's really gives a lot of diversity to the drafting. Here, since we have 100 points, I'm thinking that it's going to be a lot of 10 point and above going and then maybe some 9, 8s just to kind of round it out. Just because there are so many points that you can use. So immediately I am put into, this is a tournament of 80 people. We are put into 8 draft groups of 10 people each. And then from there we are put into our individual pools. There are 16 pools of 5 people. Top 2 move on to the next round of pools where there are 8 groups of 4 people and the top 2 from there advance into the bracket. So I was in draft pool I think it was 7, and I'm in Battle Pool 16. So that really doesn't matter. Those are just for the people out there that I might be facing or anything along those lines. So I had either the 5th or the 6th pick of my draft pool. So I decide immediately to get Celesteela because it was still there, and that was for 18 points. So Celesteela is an incredible Pokemon. I actually have never gotten to use it in draft format. A lot of people that I know personally look at this Pokemon and they specifically told people to draft it just so I wasn't able to get it. And that's because it fits my playstyle really well, I believe. It doesn't have a lot of recovery, but Leech Seed with good offensive, really well-rounded stats here with base 95 HP, 101 attack, 103 defense, 107 special attack, 101 special defense. The ability to autotomize and not Aurora Veil. Holy crap. You can see how much I use Aurora Veil. Just loads it in. But autotomize with great coverage on both sides, special and physical. It can Leech Seed, which is incredible for getting its health back. Leech Seed, Protect, just keep wearing it down, keep healing myself up. Possibly with something like Leftovers or anything else that I really want to bring on it. We're also in this league, we're allowed 1 Z user. I won't tell you until the end what my Z user is. But this immediately, when I first drafted it, I didn't think I was going to have any other Z user. It was going to be Celesteela. So we will move on from there. Also, it gets fire coverage, which is just incredible for a steel type, specifically steel flying type. So then then it goes down, snakes back up, comes to me, and right there, Zygarde 50% is sitting, and it is not Power Construct, it's Aura Break, but I don't know how this could just be left alone. I understand point system, people might prioritize lower Pokemon better. By the way, this was 16 points. So far I've used 34 points. But it's just such a great wall breaker. It's really amazing at setting up. You can wall break with a choice band. You can even scarf it if you want. It can be leftovers with sub and coil, possibly with Dragon Dance. Because not Dragon Pulse, whatever. You know I want to put Dragon Dance there. And then Thousand Arrows just hits everything. It has no immunities, hits flying types, hits levitating Pokemon, knocks them down, takes away resistance, takes away an immunity, and just hits so hard. I mean, Thousand Arrows may not have the best base power, but there's nothing that stops you from just spamming Thousand Arrows, as well as the amazing priority it gets with extreme speed. I could run Earthquake. I could run a special set with Earth Power and Core Enforcer. Glare is a great move to have on it. Outrage, Rock coverage with Stone Edge, and it gets Poison coverage with Sludge Wave. So in case I run into some Booloos, I could run that. The next Pokemon I decided to pick is I picked Reuniclus, and I picked Reuniclus for 13 points, and I picked it because I wanted to start a Regenerator Core. I thought, paired with Celesteela, a Regenerator Core can be incredible. Can kill momentum from my opponent. It can give me momentum if I start predicting some switches. And I really thought it was going to be a good idea to get a Regenerator core going. Odds are I'm not going to be running Overcoat. I'm either going to run Magic Guard or Regenerator, and Regenerator is part of the Regenerator core, and Reuniclus, also known as Free Uniclus, is just a very free Pokemon. Of course, it costs me 13 points, but bits and strings here and there. But Reuniclus is just an incredible Pokemon. I've never used it before, and I really want to try it out. Calm Mind, Recover if I don't want to run Regenerator, or even with Regenerator, but Magic Guard is really good Calm Mind with Recover, Psyshock, Psychic. It gets a lot of really good coverage moves, which is really interesting, with Energy Ball, Flash Cannon, Focus Blast. It gets Knock Off. I could run Dual Screens if I wanted to, Pain Split if for some odd reason I didn't want to run Recover. Thunder Wave, Trick Room, a Trick Room sweeper set could be really good against Shadow Ball, Signal Beam. So I'm just really kind of in love with this Pokemon right now, and I think it can come in really handy. Fourth pick for me comes around, and I grab the second part of a Regenerator core with Mienshao. And what I like about, also it was 11 points for Mienshao. And what I like about this pick is that it makes a Regenerator core, but also doesn't force myself or me to be running a Regenerator core, because Mienshao works really well with Reckless. The Scarf Reckless high jump kick just runs through teams. Not many teams will probably have a switch in for it, and Reuniclus could run Magic Guard. So it's really a team, or my opponent could be expecting Regenerator and just get hit with a nasty Reckless Scarf Mienshao and have nothing for it. Or I could Life Orb it. It gives me a very good speed tier in 105. Right now, I didn't have anything higher than a base 100 speed tier, or base 95 for that matter, with Zygarde. So in Zygarde, I really like its defense stat. I didn't really mention that. And with Reuniclus, I really like its HP stat and its special attack stat, because it means that I don't really have to invest in its special attack very much for it to be as offensive as I need it to be. And Mienshao is basically straight offense. I'm not going to be running much other than offensive coverage on it. It has a great move pool. Drain Punch. It gets Grass Knot. I could run a special set because this has a base 95 special attack. I could run a Calm Mind Baton Pass set. I could run Bulk Up Baton Pass. Baton Pass is not banned in this league. I could run Hidden Power Ice, High Jump Kick, Knock Off, Poison Jab, gets Power Up Punch. U-Turn is really great, and I kind of started a U-Turn kind of core that I finish up at the very end of the draft here. So, and Taunt. I love Taunt. Taunt is one of my favorite moves. So right now I'm looking at my team, and I see that I'm pretty weak to hazards. Not only do I have no way of removing hazards, but Regenerator cores are traditionally pretty weak to hazards. So I wanted to get something that kind of deters hazards, and that was, I don't need to type that in, a Mega Sableye. And I want this to be first and foremost put it out there that I was the only one to draft Mega Sableye in the entire league. So with Mega Sableye, I am able to deter hazards, and I'm able to not only be an incredibly powerful setup Pokemon, but I can just be a really big wall. If for those that don't know, Magic bounces back any non-damaging moves, essentially. So anything like Toxic or Stealth Rocks, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Sticky Webs, they all get sent back to the opponent so that they actually get put up on the other person's side, or Toxic gets sent out from my Mega Sableye. And it's really great. And this is a first turn Mega League, other than Mega Sharpedo, which has to either protect first turn and then Mega Evolve, or just straight Mega Evolve the first turn. And I love Mega Sableye's moveset. It can be both physical and special, which is really nice. I could run a kind of setup set and run Knock Off with maybe an Elemental Punch for some good coverage, with Recover, possibly Taunt, maybe Will-O-Wisp. Or it can be an incredibly powerful Calm Mind setup sweeper. Calm Mind, basically I could run Calm Mind with Will-O-Wisp to make sure no physical attacks can hit me very hard. And Calm Mind starts boosting my special defense. And then I could run Recover with one other move that basically just hits the entire team. And since there are only 8 Pokemon on each team, it's going to be a lot easier for me to find that one move that just hits everything as hard as I need it to. And it's really bulky, doesn't need speed whatsoever. Base 20 speed is meh, don't even need it. It has a lower base HP, but it's very workable considering its defenses and has such a great defensive typing. And Mega Sableye was 13 points, which I thought was slightly expensive for it, but I also, one of my good friends from BTR League, or my league, he actually sniped me. We were in the same draft pool, and the round I was going to get draft Mega Beedrill for, I think it was like 10 or 9 points. He ended up picking it because I wanted to start getting a lot of momentum going. It has such an incredibly high attack stat with adaptability. U-turn would have hit really hard and been a really good breaker for this team. But I think Mega Sableye is going to come in handy a lot this season or this tournament. So next Pokemon I draft, I realized that I'm very weak to electric other than Zygarde, and basically an electric Pokemon just runs Hidden Power Ice on my team, and hey, have a lot of fun. So I decided to add an ice weakness, but something that can actually take hits on the special side, specifically electric hits, is Roserade. And I believe Shaman was there for around the same price, which was 11 points. But I really like Roserade, and I really like its ability to set up hazards. So something like Spikes, Toxic Spikes, gets both of them. It can run a fully offensive set with Life Orb, possibly, and since it does get Natural Cure, I could run Life Orb with Rest if I wanted to, switch out and be perfectly healthy again. But something really good is Technician. Technician boosted Hidden Power Fire, makes it base 90 power, Hidden Power Ice, base 90. Anything that's base 60 or below gets a 1.5 boost to it, which is huge for Hidden Powers and just its overall damage output. And with a base 125 special attack, there's not much that really likes switching into it, and it also gives me a very decently speedy Pokemon with base 90 speed and really good special defense in 105. It's a little lacking in the HP department, but I'm not too worried, especially considering since it has such a higher special attack stat and a decent speed stat, I don't need to invest in them as much to outspeed bulkier things, and I really won't be outspeeding much that I won't be walling. So it makes a lot of sense on this team. So, next Pokemon that I ended up getting, so those are my first 6, and I currently have 18 points left for this draft. And I see something and I start to kind of build a plan, and I had 2 options in mind. So I was either going to go with Togekiss, which I believe was 10 points, with something else that was 8 points. I'm not really sure what. I hadn't planned it out just yet. Spoilers, I don't go for this. Or I go for Tornadus, Therian, for 16 points. And I get another Pokemon that was 2 points. So, I went with Tornadus. And if you have followed this channel at all, which not many people have, whatever, not a big deal. You will know that I love Tornadus Therian. I love the Regenerator on it. And it actually makes the 3rd Regenerator Pokemon on my team. And I said I was going to keep Z-moves to the end, but this is my Z-move user. It isn't just Fly Z. I can use any Z-moves, but Tornadus with the Z-moves, I'm finally giving it the ability to use Z-moves, which is finally what it wants. I've never used it with Z-moves before, so I really look forward to using it. And it just makes it an even better wall breaker, and it has such good coverage, both physically and specially. I can run a bulk up set. I could run special, of course, special wall breaking, stall break with taunt, U-turn, possibly Hurricane, because now that I have Z moves, I can run Hurricane and just click the Z move instead of just running Air Slash all the time, which is something that I always do. But also Defog, I love that it gets Defog now. Heat Wave is amazing. Grass Knot, and it just has such an incredible, well-rounded stat line that it has enough speed to where I really don't need to invest very much in speed to be outspeeding just about everything on my opponent's team, especially if I just run something like a Timid Nature, and I'm already at 305 speed. To outspeed the base 100s, I just need to go to 88. So I really don't need very much speed in order to outspeed things, and I can really optimize the special attack to hit however hard I need it to, and then I can invest the rest in whatever bulk that I want, which is really great on a regenerator Pokemon, especially one with U-turn. And this fills out my regenerator core of Reuniclus, Mienshao, and Tornadus Therian, which I think is just going to be incredibly difficult for my opponents to break through, especially considering I have really bulky Pokemon like Celesteela, Zygarde 50%, and Mega Sableye. And I can run bulky Roserade if I want. So, the last Pokemon that I picked is worth 2 points, and I actually thought it was kind of undervalued at 2 points, and I looked at my Pokemon, and I realized that I don't have an electric type. So I get a 2-point electric type with Electrode, and he is 2 points, and I really like Electrode. I don't know, I know why. One, I think it's just kind of funny looking, but it has a base 150 speed, which you heard me talk about Tornadus' speed and how fast it was, but it right off the bat hits 336 speed at level 100, and that is incredible. It allows me to basically run Modest whenever I want. Whenever I am using Electrode, I can run Modest, and base 80 Modest is nothing to really scoff at, especially when you think, odds are I'm going to be running a Life Orb or a Choice Specs on this Pokemon every single time it's brought, possibly Zap Plate. Hey, I could run an Assault Vest, whatever. Not the biggest of deals. But Electrode basically just spams electric moves. It gets Taunt, which I really like. It gets Foul Play. It can put up both screens if I really want it to. Signal Beam is nice. Volt Switch is really what it's here for. It really fills out a good kind of Volt Switch U-turn core that I have with Mienshao, Tornadus Therian, and now Electrode. And Thunder Wave, maybe. I could run Toxic if I expect things to be brought in. Substitute, I love Substitute as well. So I really like this Pokemon. I actually really like this draft. It's might be one of my favorites that I've drafted, and it's only an 8-Pokemon draft, so I think I covered a lot of things well. There are going to be some Pokemon that will be troublesome, but I don't think it's anything I won't be able to kind of manipulate my team in order to work with. So that is the team, and I'd like to thank you all for joining here. I will be uploading the pool matches, so there I have 4 initial pool matches, and from there we'll see if I move on to the next round of pool matches, depending on how well I do and depending on how everyone else in my pool does. If I make it to the top 2, I move on. And I will be uploading those 2 matches at a time. Hopefully they'll be pretty quickly, and I really won't have a ton of time in order to upload them individually. So 2 at a time will kind of be how it works. And I hope to see you for those matches too. And have a great day, and hopefully I will see you soon. Bye-bye.